So, another day, another sleeping puppy. Welcome to a quick look at Huck Finn 6, the most controversial chapter in, or the second most controversial chapter in the whole. Were a class functioning the way it functioned last year or the year before, I'd be having you read a classic in satire by Jonathan Swift called The Modest Proposal, in which he proposes eating the children of the Irish because there are too many of them and they're really tasty and people would like it. But we're not there anymore, so we can't do that. So instead, I need to just do a quick thing with you on satire. Molly Ivins, famous writer from Texas, said, "Satire is traditionally the weapon of the powerless against the powerful." That's a nice, simple way of doing it. Satire is when you are making fun over and over. Here's a good example. All right. So here's our anti-vaxxer mommy. Looked very much like a Karen. She's white, her hair's in her face, she's wearing funky earrings, she's wearing Miss Frizzle's skirt. So we're all set there. And then her kids, also white kids, are covered with measles shots. We're not supposed to sympathize, empathize, or suddenly put ourselves in her position. We're supposed to point a finger and go, ha ha, at her. So there's there's nothing about this that's made her sympathetic. The point of this, though, where this becomes a weapon for the powerless against the powerful, if you go like this, is that the powerful in this case, I'm going to say white liberal is kind of where they're going here, and I don't trust science, is that it's a recognition. It's a recognition from the powerless that this is what the powerful look like. And for the people who are powerful, there's recognition to say, maybe this is me too, all the way down to my nose ring. This is a little bit more clear. This is from an Oakland newspaper. Real solutions to all your problems dropping out. Again, this is not, the way that this satire works is you're not supposed to sympathize, you're supposed to just point at them, but you're also supposed to have a little bit of a chill in your heart saying, maybe I've thought this thing too. Last but not least, one more anti-vaxxer. Again, we know where we're grabbing our images from. Essential oils will save my child. The kid is running away. Lord knows why. And the hair, the glasses, everything about this is meant to be mocking. Now, the thing that's interesting about these three cartoons to me is that this puts millennials, or Generation X at least, in the position of having all the power, right? If we're the powerless mocking the powerful, that seems to suggest that these women are powerful. So you could see why these would be more conservative ads, because in other cartoons, you don't see the women portrayed as powerful. So let's get something a little bit more straight ahead. Gotta love a leader who takes charge during a crisis. Hurricane Dorian, stand back everyone, I'll drive the cart today. So Hurricane Dorian came in, trashed Puerto Rico, and Trump is all set to take care of this. Now, it's satire. The way in which it's satire is that we recognize that this is, well, first off, we're not supposed to sympathize or empathize with anyone. If anything, we recognize that they could be us. And in this case, the audience is the guy with the green shirt. All right, he's like, yeah, he's making his nasty comment. Everyone's there. The other two porky people seem to be pretty happy with the way everything's going, and that's good to go. And so we're mocking this, but there's an element of truth here in that seems to be the way in which Trump has addressed crises. Johnny Appleseed didn't say this, I forgot who actually did. Satire tells a truth that the powerful don't want to hear, but you hear it. There are times when you're powerful and that's it. Sometimes the way in which satire works is it points it at the people who are powerless. The powerful point it at the powerless and make them feel bad about themselves. But generally, it's going to go the other way around. It works most particularly when you address the powerful. That. Got to bring in Homer. Homer's my vision. Just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand. Well, it kind of does. So here's Pap. Pap is, there isn't really room for a lot in Huck Finn. The only person you should be able to empathize with truly is Huck or maybe Jim. Huck and Jim, you can probably look at them and see them as fully realized people. And it takes a while for Huck to see Jim as a fully realized person. We haven't met Jim again yet, but we're about to. Pap, not so much. Part of the genius of Twain is that he can kind of color on both sides of the line. So if you're someone who 2 chapters ago when Pap was throwing up in the room, we're saying, oh, he's just sick, oh, he's just that. This time through, when he goes through his, called this a government speech, there's nothing likable about Pap. Pap is all sorts of horrible things. Which is why I gave you Richard Spencer to look at. Richard Spencer says aloud the same pretty much things that Pap says. He just happens to have a better vocabulary to cloth it all in. And clothe it all in, I guess. And his vocabulary isn't really all that good. Most of it's just sort of borrowed and thrown in there. But it's the same idea. Pap's same speech, only this time it's given in 2017. I put this here because I hate it. This is me dunking on something. This is looking at Pap as if he's a normal literary character. He isn't. This is somebody who missed the memo. All right? There's absolutely no... You can't look at Pap in terms of strengths or weaknesses because he's not. He's not like a balanced character the way you could look at Huck or you could look at Tom Sawyer. You can't even look at Tom Sawyer the way you could look at Huck this way. You have to just look at Pap as just a clown. He is there to make fun of ignorant white people. Ron Perlman's, one of his first big roles was playing Pap. And you can see where the way he can play his eyes and he can get that sort of redneck smile going, that's going to be good. But even Ron Perlman, God bless him, can't really give the darkness to Pap that you want. Notice what the director did here. Perlman, he might be wearing contacts, but I think his eyes are pretty much that blue. But he can do the crazy eye. And so they put a spotlight just on his crazy eye so everyone gets the message he's crazy. This, in a certain way, is a lie because Pap isn't crazy. Pap believes everything that he's saying. You can't give him the excuse of mental illness. Instead, you just have to say, no, this is what racist white people really sound like. So with that in mind, let me look at some of the best practices. This one is right on brand. This is a great analysis. It's a great to use. Spencer, and she ties the two ideas together really well. Quick highlighting here. Quite ironic, the man does not believe in education, constantly doing, encourages his son to be uncivilized, thinks that his views should matter when it comes to government decisions. All right, so right on. I mean, this whole idea of civilized, part of this goes back to that same idea with Pat before. He's from a Southern culture that says you should not be better than your father. But this really marks the two things in well. Nice done. This is another nice use of the Spencer quote. It's a little tighter. It does the same explanation, but it stays right in 100 words. I think that one of the things that Spencer doesn't get is the irony of this statement. To be white is to be a crusader, a striver, an explorer, and a conqueror. Well, right. When we think about Columbus, he was a crusader. He was a crusader. He came from a Western European tradition, went to people who were not Western European and slaughtered them. A striver, right. He was a political striver in the court of Spain. An explorer, well, you can only explore unknown areas, and they're only unknown if you're from Europe. Everybody in in the West Indies knew about the West Indies. The only person who didn't was Columbus. In Conqueror, again, you can come by, you can enslave the people, you can bring them back if you're conquering them. So it's sort of like, I mean, this is where Spencer says the quiet part out loud. Of course, to be white is to be a conqueror. The question is, to being a conqueror isn't necessarily all that good. The one thing I think that this person missed is that it's ironic or sarcastic. All right, in the sense that Twain doesn't want you to see this as a real person. Twain wants you to mock this person. This person should be mocked to the fullest extent that you can get. And that's actually why I included it. Don't miss the sarcasm. This is sarcastic. It's not meant to be taken seriously. No part of Twain thinks Pappy is the right thing to do. All right, last but not least, this is a nice little piece here. So a lot of times, I think that one of the things that Huck doesn't say, and it's where he gets a lot more depth than the other characters do, is that I think Huck actually loves his father. He knows his father's bad. He knows his father is doomed. He knows his father is all of those things, but he still sort of loves his father. And the idea that he's spiting his father to go to school means that somehow or another his father's opinions still matter to him. It's a little weird. I understand that, but it's adolescent, and I'm sure that you guys can identify with it. So here's where this person writes this, and she does a wonderful job. He knows that his dad harms him because he's an alcoholic and knows and that he's poor. But he thinks it is personal, and that's what drives him to think his dad is the predator. This is similar to what racist hate speech is about. Huck Finn feels like a stronger person because he battles his dad, and this would entail a sense of individuality in him. She's right. I think the one thing that she wants to include there is that he feels the need to battle him because he loves his father. Okay, enough of that. I'll have more words to you guys tomorrow afternoon, but the quick thing I'd want to say is remember that this book is satire. It's meant to be taken seriously, but it's meant to be painful. And just let it do that.